reading one story a day to get through my short story horror collections, episode 6. Today's story is called Crowthorne, and it is by Andrew Lyall. This story is about a woman who returns to her hometown 35 years later, and she's remembering her childhood friend, what they used to do together, what their games were like, how close they were at that time, where her friend lived, and all of the areas where they used to play as kids. But we also find out that her childhood friend went missing and was never found. So we get to go down this road with our character while she's, remembering her friend, and we get to also reveal some secrets along the way. This story was really cool. It's kind of a slow, quiet horror type thing, but had a really nice creep factor to it, and I enjoyed it a lot. I gave it 4 stars. It's episode 7. Today's story is Though Your Heart is Breaking by Laurel Hightower. This story is about a policewoman who's called to a crime scene to examine a body that has been mutilated in a way that is very unusual. They have the perp back at the police station, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. They don't think that this person could actually do the things that happened to this body. It's a very small person. She's very meek, and she's also covered in blood up to her elbows. So they're really trying to figure out how this happened. If you're someone who has never appreciated the "why don't you smile more? You'd be prettier if you'd smile," you're really going to like this story. I thought it was really good. I wish it had a little bit more meat on its bones, but it was still a pretty fun story. I gave it 3.5 stars.
Episode 8. This story is called The Loss of Standards, and it's by Alice Sabo. This story is about a man who wakes up in his apartment and goes into his kitchen to get some coffee for his hangover. And as he's leaving the kitchen, he sees that there is a lump on his couch. And next to this lump on the couch is a pile of bloody rags. We find out that there's a man in there somewhere, and his name is Luke. But Luke is not just an ordinary guy. He's actually kind of special. He's an enhance. And this is very important because the world at the moment is going through a pandemic, and there is some type of virus, some type of infection going around, and people are losing their minds and going after enhance because of this. The story was really interesting. It was very short, but I really wish there had been more. But I really did like what I read. It was pretty cool. So I gave this story 4 stars.
Episode 9. Today's story is Swim Wants to Know If It's As Bad as Swim Thinks. This story is about a cashier who works at a grocery store, who is also a mother and also a drug addict. This person has a lot of questionable behavior and questionable rationale, as you can imagine, and we really get to spend time with her in this space as she is making some decisions about her and her daughter amidst a storm that's coming to town, a huge storm that seems to be a little bit out of this world. The story is written in a voice that kind of emulates the cadence and thought process of someone who might be suffering from addiction, so that was very interesting. The story didn't really go anywhere for me though, so I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Episode 10. Today's story is The Graveyard Shift. This story is about a man named Hall who works at a factory, a mill, and he, along with a handful of other co-workers, have been tasked with cleaning out the basement underneath this factory. This basement is huge. It is wet and moldy, and there's a lot of rotting furniture down there, and just a lot of terrible stuff that needs to be thrown out. There's also rats, a lot of rats down there. They go down there with a bunch of hoses to clean everything up, but they find a door that leads to an unknown subterranean section underneath the building, and they find something pretty terrible in there. This story was pretty fun. I'm not really a creature feature person, but I did have a lot of fun reading this. It's a bit of a crypt crawler as well, so that's kind of cool. I gave this 4 stars out of 5.